4, I have to start to make a decision. At number 3, I'm curving. At number 4, I could still curve. And then number 5, I could reverse the direction of the bottom down here. And then continue the reversal in number 6. And then snap the line over in number 7. Or I could begin my reversal on number 4. So what I want to do is I want to have all this stuff, all these lines here, moving in the same direction across this way. But then suddenly I want to reverse the direction of number 4 at the bottom here. So my bottom part is going to go across like this, then it's going to reverse and come back across this way. So I need to reverse the direction of the line, going like this, keeping this curved in this direction here, but now changing the direction over here. So this is similar to what we did on the pendulum swing. This part is now going to go back in that direction there, while this continues to move across here. So on my next drawing, I'm going to do the same thing. This part here will continue to move in this direction, but I'm going to crisscross my line higher up here and pull this line across to this position here. Number 6 is the same type of thing, crisscrossing slightly higher up here and pulling this line across this way and beginning to open up the distance here, because I want to begin to speed up as I go across here while this part slows down. And then number 7 is my reversal position, where I snap it over and arc it in a C curve in the opposite direction. Okay, so my crisscross points on each of my drawings, number 4, my crisscross point was right here with my number 3. Then on number 5, the crisscross point then took place here on this drawing. Then on number 6, the crisscross point takes place over here, and the crisscross point takes place there on number 7. So remember that theory of the surfer that we had on the pendulum swing. If I have a surfer on here, it's like there's a wave that's taking place. In fact, I have to do it this way in order for it to look properly. So my first wave, going from my curve in this direction here, which is on drawing number 3, when I go to drawing number 4, here's the little crest that's being created right there at that point. Then on number 5, as I come to this position here, my crest is now moving over to here. Then on number 6, my crest moves over even more. And number 7, my crest moves over to here. So my surfer is riding the wave as it moves out there. So now as I progress out of this, I'm going to go to number 8, and my line will arc across like this. Number 9 is out here. And number 10 will be here, halfway in between those two. Okay. So you can see the curves on each of the lines there. As it goes across, reverses, and comes back into the opposite direction. So this now gives me a guide for what I can do in my final drawing. So now all I have to do is take my paper and place it over top of my template here, my planning stage. Take my design off here. Put my drawing down. Put this over top for drawing number 1, and I can just switch on my light table here so I can see the lines through it. There's my number 1 drawing right here. So I'll just trace that off and be sure that it hooks into my fulcrum point. I want to make sure that that's always consistent. Now the end point, I can sort of figure out it's roughly about there, but I can work that out later on. As I go through my drawings, I can go back and double check and fix this up. So now I want to move on to my drawing number 2. Number 2 now is right here. And number 3 will be right here. I'm getting harder to see through it now. So what I'll do is I'll take my papers off and I'll just set my drawings off to the side so they stay in order. Over here. My drawing number 3 is right here. Number 4 is where I'm going to begin my reversal. My number 4 drawing is right here. There's my reversal right there. Oops, took it a little bit too far. So I may have to come back and clean that up. We'll see how it looks in the pencil test. Number 5, I'm continuing the reversal, but still going across in this direction here. So there's my number 5 right there. Then into number 6. Six is the final reversal drawing before I snap it over and go into my C curve. And you want to try and make sure that these curves are nice and gentle all the way through. There should never be a hard edge, never be a straight line on it anywhere. Should always be nice and gentle curving. And now here's where I pop it, snap it over, just turn the disc this way. And again, this is why the disc is curved this way, so that I can just pivot my heel of my hand and get a nice arc as opposed to going the opposite direction, which is a little bit more awkward. So this is my drawing number, stop remembering the drawing. So this is 6, 7, to number 8, my number 8 now. Sorry, is moving over here. My 7, so there's my number 7, there's my number 8. 8 is right here, so I'm off slightly. I think I connected that one into the wrong drawing. Or did I? No, there's my number 8 right there. Sorry, I'm doing this one wrong. So I'm going to scrap that. Come back and redo this one. Make sure I know where I am. Right, so there's my number 8 position is right there. There's my number 8. To 9, which is right here. Just going to push that over just a little bit further. This drawing right here. And then my number 11 is the opposite of number 1. So I want to make sure that this is accurate, so I'm going to take my number 1 drawing, flip it over, and then trace that off. This is number 11, which is now going this way. All right, so let's take a peek at this and see what it looks like flipped. A nice reversal. So it gives a little bit of a snap. And then out of it. Okay, so what I have to do now is go through my numbering. As I had listed down here, my number 2 will be number 12. So I just take number 2 drawing, flip it over, and the pegs, trace it off. And that will be my number 12 drawing. So I'll go through, trace them all off, and then we'll take a peek and see what they look like in just a few seconds. And there's my number 20, the final drawing. Now we'll just put these in order. Nice overlap, the whole thing. So now what I'll do is, once I look at the pencil test, I'll check to see that my points are staying nice and solid all the way through. I'll go back, I'll measure to make sure that the lengths are all exactly the same, and I'll use my template drawing, this drawing right here, to compare and see that they're doing exactly what they're doing. So now the next stage beyond that is to basically go through all the drawings and start to add the volume onto them. So by doing this type of a thing here, where I'm going to take my drawing over top, and it's usually good to work with a light table when we're doing this. It's easier to see through your drawing that way. We'll take your drawing, line it up on the fulcrum point here, and like I said, just creep up as you rotate it to find your 1/3 mark right here. Okay. And then find your 2/3, 1/3 mark up the line to there, and then continue up, as I said before, to make sure that your line length is accurate. So I'm just going to lop off about that much of the line there. So now what I want to do is I want to go back and I want to start to calculate out the volumes on each of these parts here. So what I'm going to do is, again from the fulcrum point here, line this part here up, and I'm just going to make a little line on the side here. And as I move upwards, like with the connection point, I can just sort of pivot with my pencil here and start to plot out where each of the volume points are all the way through here. Find where the mouth is over here. Block that out. Forgot to do it on this side here. Okay. And then I progress up my line. Just continue on up. So what I'm doing is I'm creating a series of dots on this that will help me to start to figure out where exactly the overall volume is on this. Then what I can do is I can come back and simply connect all my dots together to create the final finished line. So now I've got my dotted line version here. I can just go in there, connect the dots as I go along. And that way my volumes are maintained. This part here flattens out just a little bit. Now, the next thing I want to do is I want to determine what my mouth is going to be doing at any given point in time. So for this, the way I want you to sort of approach this and think about this as we're doing these little mouths here, I want you to think about your belly button. Yeah, I said that right. I want you to think about your belly button. So when you think about your belly button, when you arch your back like this, your belly button is open. When you bend over forward like this, or in this case this way, if you're facing that direction, when you bend over this way, your belly button's going to close up. So therefore this line here, this mouth on this side, is going to be closed. I'm not going to close it all the way, but just part closed like that. But this one over here, it's going to be nice and open. So I'm going to open it a little bit more than my standard opening here. Just stretch it open a little bit further. like that. So as the seaweed progresses across in this direction here, the top mouth is going to be open, open, open until it reverses and flips over into my number 7 drawing, which is my complete reversal position. This drawing right here. So that's where it flips over. So then the mouth on this side is going to be closed, but this one's opened. So I'm going to open up my mouth on this side over here. And as it travels across, this side will be open, open, open until it begins its reversal. Then it's going to close down until I get to the opposing drawing, which would be number 17 on this one. And then that's when the side closes and the top part opens up. So I'm going to have this constant opening and closing, depending on which side it is. Now what I want you to be careful of, and you go through the same process on this as we did with the line. You basically animate all the way through, figuring out, the volumes and the opening and closing stuff. And when we get back to number 11, you can't just take drawing number 1 and flip it upside down. The reason for that is the mouth that is on the left-hand side here at the top is now on the right-hand side at the top, but it should be over on this side over here. So you're going to have to reverse your mouths on each of these when you go to the reversal on it. Okay? So remember, when you flip the drawing over, you don't simply just trace it off. You have to draw the mouth on the opposite side on either one. Otherwise, the mouths will pop from one side to the other. So the whole purpose of this assignment now, there's 2 purposes really. The first one is to understand this seaweed action back and forth, making sure that we get the reversal. The second aspect, which is the new introduction principle that we're going to be dealing with from this point on, is the idea of maintaining your volumes and your proportions. So when we start to move in towards the area of dealing with characters, we want to make sure that the character's arms, legs, their body, their head, everything stays the same relative size in relationship to each other. That things don't start shrinking and growing all over the place. This is one of the major problems that a lot of students have. And I still have this, even after the number of years that I've been animating, I still have the problem of the shrinkage of the character as you move through the scene. Because whenever you start off your scene, you'll start off with the very first key drawing, and it's usually a fairly nice looking drawing. Characters on model, a few details, and then as you progress through your keys in the scene, you begin dropping away details. And you start drawing a little bit faster, and you're just drawing a basic circle for the head, and a line for the spine, and a couple of lines for the legs with a little bit of volume on it. But invariably what will happen is as you move through the scene, your character begins to shrink. And so what you have to do is you always have to come back to your original key drawing and match it up. So that's the purpose of this drawing right here, our model, is that we're going to constantly refer to that to keep our volumes always the same. Now this is part and parcel of what the students in the program are doing right now, is we're also doing the in-betweening assignments at the same time. And we've now progressed to the point where we're doing characters. The last one that we just finished up was the dog, where the dog moves from one point to another. There's no real animation to it. The character is just moving across, the tongue moves down, and it's a shift and trace assignment. But the problem is you have to maintain your volumes from one drawing to the next. So even though there's only one in between there, if the volumes change on it, well, it's a noticeable change. So we want to try and do the same thing here. We don't want our seaweed as it moves back and forth going blah, 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 all over the place. We want it to look like it's a solid 3-dimensional object. So that's why we have to try and maintain our volumes as much as possible. All right? So that's the thing I want you to focus on for this assignment. Number 1, get your seaweed action with the overlapping action and the reversal taking place. Make sure your length is the same, and then go back in and work out your volumes so that you're consistent from one drawing to the next. You may have to scrap a few drawings. You're going to have to flip as well. Okay, you're going to have to flip your drawings, roll flip, stack flip, check them over and over and over again. And as you're flipping your drawings, you're looking at different points. You're looking at the distance from here to here and maintaining that volume and seeing, does it change, does it shrink, does it grow? And if it does, then you've got to go back in and change it and fix it. Because otherwise, it's going to make everything wrong. So that's really important with this assignment. Maintain your volumes, maintain your proportions, and keep your structure solid. Okay? Take your time on it. Okay? Really work it through and make sure that it looks good.